8 is the natural number following 7 and preceding 9. In mathematics, 8 is a composite number, its proper divisors being 1, 2, and 4. It is twice 4 or 4 times 2. 8 is a power of 2, being 23, and is the first number of the form p3, p being an integer greater than 1. It is also the first number which is neither prime nor semi-prime. It has an aliquot sum of 7 in the 4-member aliquot sequence, being the first member of 7 aliquot tree. All powers of 2 have an aliquot sum of 1 less than themselves. A number is divisible by 8 if its last 3 digits are also divisible by 8. 8 is the first number to be the aliquot sum of 2 numbers other than itself, the discrete biprime 10, and the square number 49. 8 is the base of the octal number system, which is mostly used with computers. In octal, one digit represents 3 bits. In modern computers, a byte is a grouping of 8 bits, also called an octet. The number 8 is a Fibonacci number, being 3 plus 5. The next Fibonacci number is 13. 8 is the only positive Fibonacci number, aside from 1, that is a perfect cube. 8 is the only non-zero perfect power that is 1 less than another perfect power, by Mihailsky's theorem. 8 is the order of the smallest non-abelian group, all of whose subgroups are normal. 8 and 9 form a Ruth-Aron pair under the second definition, in which repeated prime factors are counted as often as they occur. There are a total of 8 convex deltahedra. A polygon with 8 sides is an octagon. Figure 8 numbers representing octagons are called octagonal numbers. A polyhedron with 8 faces is an octahedron. A cube octahedron has as faces 6 equal squares and 8 equal regular triangles. A cube has 8 vertices. Sphenic numbers always have exactly 8 divisors. 8 is the dimension of the octonions and is the highest possible dimension of a normed division algebra. The number 8 is involved with a number of interesting mathematical phenomena related to the notion of Bott periodicity. For example, if O is the direct limit of the inclusions of real orthogonal groups, then Clifford algebras also display a periodicity of 8. For example, the algebra CL is isomorphic to the algebra of 16 by 16 matrices with entries in CL. We also see a period of 8 in the K-theory of spheres and in the representation theory of the rotation groups, the latter giving rise to the 8x8 spinorial chessboard. All of these properties are closely related to the properties of the octonions. The spin group spin is the unique such group that exhibits the phenomenon of triality. The lowest dimensional even unimodular lattice is the 8-dimensional ℏ lattice. Even positive definite unimodular lattice exist only in dimensions divisible by 8. A figure 8 is the common name of a geometric shape, often used in the context of sports, such as skating. Figure 8 turns of a rope or cable around a cleat, pin, or bit are used to belay something. In numeral systems, list of basic calculations. Etymology. English 8, from Old English ℏ, ℝ, Proto-Germanic **ato, is a direct continuation of Proto-Indo-European *okt, and as such cognate with Greek ∝ omega and Latin octo, both of which stems are reflected by the English prefix October. As in the ordinal adjective octaval or octavary, the distributive adjective is octonary. The adjective octuple may also be used as a noun, meaning a set of 8 items. The diminutive octuplet is mostly used to refer to 8 siblings delivered in one birth. The Semitic numeral is based on a root *θ Minnesota, whence Akkadian SMN, Arabic TMN, Hebrew SMN, etc. The Chinese numeral is from an Old Chinese *priat, ultimately from Sino-Tibetan Bjayat or Bg Ryat, which also yielded Tibetan Bryat. It has been argued that, as the cardinal number 7 is the highest number of item that can universally be cognitively processed as a single set, The etymology of the numeral 8 might be the first to be considered composite, either as twice 4, or as too short of 10, or similar. The Turkic words for 8 are from a Proto-Turkic stem ***, which has been suggested as originating as the negation of eki, as in, without two fingers. This same principle is found in Finnic ***ksa, which conveys a meaning of two before. The Proto-Indo-European reconstruction ***okt itself has been argued as representing an old dual, which would correspond to an original meaning of twice 4. Proponents of this quaternary hypothesis adduce the numeral 9, which might be built on the stem nu, meaning new glyph. The modern 8 glyph, like all modern Hindu-Arabic numerals, originates with the Brahma numerals. The Brahma numeral for 8 by the 1st century was written in one stroke as a curve looking like an uppercase H, with the bottom half of the left line and the upper half of the right line removed. However, the 8 glyph used in India in the early centuries of the Common Era developed considerable variation, and in some cases took the shape of a single wedge, which was adopted into the Perso-Arabic tradition as. In these numerals, the line of the 5-like glyph used in Indian manuscripts for 8 came to be formed in Gubar as a closed loop, which was the 8 shape that became adopted into European use in the 10th century. Just as in most modern typefaces, in typefaces with text figures the 8 character usually has an ascender, as, for example, in the infinity symbol infinity, described as sideways figure 8, is unrelated to the 8 glyph in origin. It is first used in the 17th century, and it may be derived from the Roman numeral for 1000 CI, or alternatively from the final Greek letter. The numeral 8 in Greek numerals, developed in classical Greece by the 5th century BC, was written as eta, the 8th letter of the Greek alphabet. The Chinese numeral 8 is written in 2 strokes. The glyph is also the 12th Kangxi radical. In science, physics in nuclear physics, the second magic number. In particle physics, the eightfold way is used to classify subatomic particles. In statistical mechanics, the 8-vertex model has 8 possible configurations of arrows at each vertex. Astronomy Messier object M8, a magnitude 5.0 nebula in the constellation of Sagittarius. The New General Catalogue object NGC8, a double star in the constellation Pegasus. The Saros number of the solar eclipse series, which began on 2579 BCE the 7th of March and ended on 1281 BCE the 26th of April. The duration of Saros series 8 was 1298.1 years, and it contained 73 solar eclipses. The Saros number of the lunar eclipse series, which began on 2512 BCE the 27th of July and ended on 961 BCE the 13th of February. The duration of Saros series 7 was 1550.6 years, and it contained 87 lunar eclipses. As of 2006, in our solar system, 8 of the bodies orbiting the Sun are considered to be planets. Chemistry: the atomic number of oxygen, the number of allotropes of carbon. The most stable allotrope of a sulfur molecule is made of 8 sulfur atoms arranged in a rhombic form. The maximum number of electrons that can occupy a valence shell. The red pigment lycopene consists of 8 isoprene units. Geology: a dysphenoid crystal is bounded by 8 scalene triangles arranged in pairs. A ditetragonal prism in the tetragonal crystal system has 8 similar faces whose alternate interfacial angles only are equal. Biology: all spiders, and more generally all arachnids, have 8 legs. Orb-weaver spiders of the cosmopolitan family Arneidae have 8 similar eyes. The octopus and its cephalopod relatives in genus Argonauta have 8 arms. Compound coelenterates of the subclass or order Alcyonaria have polyps with 8 branched tentacles and 8 septa. Sea anemones of genus Edwardsia have 8 mesenteries. Animals of phylum C. Ctenophora swim by means of 8 meridional bands of transverse ciliated plates. each plate representing a row of large modified cilia. The 8-spotted forester is a diurnal moth having black wings with brilliant white spots. The ascus fungi of the class Ascomycetes, following nuclear fusion, bears within it typically 8 ascospores. Herps of genus Chloropsis have showy flower heads with involucral bracts in 2 distinct series of 8 each. Timothy Leary identified a hierarchy of 8 levels of consciousness. In human adult dentition there are 8 teeth in each quadrant. The 8th tooth is the so-called wisdom tooth. There are 8 cervical nerves on each side in man and most mammals. In technology, a byte is 8 bits. Many computer architectures are 8-bit, among them the Nintendo Entertainment System. Standard 8 and Super 8 are 8 mm film formats. Video 8, High 8 and Digital 8 are related 8 mm video formats. On most phones, the 8 key is associated with the letters T, U, and V, but on the BlackBerry it is the key for B, N, and X. An 8 may refer to an 8-cylinder engine or automobile. A V8 engine is an internal combustion engine with 8 cylinders configured in 2 banks of 4 forming a V, when seen from the end. A figure 8 knot is a kind of stopper knot. The number 8 written in parentheses is the code for the musical note in Windows Live Messenger. On a 7-segment display, when an 8 is illuminated, all the display bulbs are on. In measurement, the SI prefix for 10,008 is yota, and for its reciprocal, yocto. In liquid measurement, there are 8 fluid ounces in a cup, 8 pints in a gallon and 8 tablespoonfuls in a gill. There are 8 furlongs in a mile. The clove, an Old English unit of weight, was equal to 8 pounds when measuring cheese. An 8 may be an article of clothing of the 8th size. Force 8 is the first wind strength attributed to a gale on the Beaufort scale when announced on a shipping forecast.